Welcome to As the Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome Blake Bedsaul, frontman for hard rock band Saul, to the podcast. Saul's sophomore album, This Is It, The End of Everything, came out back on July 28th via Spinefarm Records. Blake talks about leaving sports behind to pursue music, how the band ended up on SiriusXM Radio, releasing an album during lockdowns, finding an audience, and more. This Is It is a great blend of radio rock with metal riffs. The album is worth checking out. I want to give a shout out to our newest Patreon member, Matt D. Welcome and thanks for the support. All Patreon members get early access to every episode of As the Story Grows, and there are currently a lot of episodes up to preview and enjoy. So come join us. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform of choice. You can join the mailing list on Substack or come hang out on Discord. Links will be in the show notes. I hope everyone enjoys getting to know Blake Bedsaul from Saul. Going. How you doing today?
Good. Doing good. Getting some stuff done, getting ready for a tour, and got a show coming up on the 17th that we're getting ready for.
Nice. Are you still out in Sutherland, Iowa?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's where you grew up?
Yep.
Yeah, I just looked it up on the map. You were definitely in God's country out there.
That's about it's population us out here. It's pretty small.
Yeah. What was growing up like?
Boring.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, it takes like 3 or 4 of the surrounding towns to make one school district. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty small. But I mean, you grow up knowing everybody. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. What were you into as a kid? Like, I don't know what there's to do.
When I was
kid stuff, right?
Yeah, normal kid stuff. Riding your bikes and all that stuff, building forts. But like, in high school, what I wanted to do, I wanted to be a power lifter. So I lifted a lot of weights at the gym and all that stuff. So
why powerlifting?
I don't know. I just like to lift heavy. I like to lift heavy things. At least I used to. I don't do it much anymore.
Yeah, that's cool. What got you into music?
Well, okay. So I was a jock pretty much in high school, playing football and doing all that stuff. And then, my brother Zach had a band called Sequoia, and their bass player wasn't very good. And he's like, "Hey, do you think you could play bass?" I'm like, "It's 4 strings, bro. I'm sure. I'm sure I could play it." And so I went and bought a bass guitar like that week and a small amp, and then rock and roll music corrupted my mind, and I just never looked back.
That's so funny. You were like not on that path at all. You were just like, I'm into sports. That's my shit.
Yep.
Oh,
I mean, because we've had like Adam Timmerman came out of the area. He was 3-time Super Bowl champion, a lineman for the Green Bay Packers and the great era of the Rams. So, I mean, he came out of here. We had Justin Stammer come out of here. He played for the Bills. I mean, so everybody growing up around here, small towns, like, yeah, I'm going to do that too. So, that was kind of like all of our paths, like as young kids. But once I discovered music, like really discovered music, there was no going back from that.
What was it about it that made you like put sports behind you and just like focus on music? What?
I really dug it. It was something, one thing, it was new for me. I hadn't done it before. Mm-hmm. I played band in like high school, but I was terrible. I only did it I wanted to go on like the class big band trip, it was like a cruise that we went and played on. Nice. And I'm like, I just talked to the band director. I'm like, "Hey man, just put me on something." I played the triangle and I played it terribly. I'm like, I didn't know how to count music, nothing. And he had to cue me. I'm like, "Oh, ding." You know what I mean? He's like, you're behind, Bedsaul, you're behind. I'm like, "I don't know, man. I just want to go on the trip." That's all. Just consider me part of the band and I'll just load gear. But when I picked up the bass, it almost became like like I knew what I was doing right away. I don't know what it was. It just made sense to me. Cause that's technically my first instrument. And then Zach and I did the band. We did Saul and we did acoustic stuff around for a while. And I didn't really want to be the vocalist of the band. It's just everybody we auditioned. I'm like, I can do it better than this guy. I can do it better than this. And then so it just became, that's what we did. And for a long time, we were just a 3-piece, me, Zach, and we had drummers come in and out and, going to college and stuff like that. And just did cover band stuff. And I just had a good time. And it was just a good time. I don't know what made me stick with it. It's the longest thing I've probably ever done in my life. I don't know. I just love it.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. I was like heavy into martial arts, like right at like getting my black belt. And I went to like my first punk show and I was like, I don't want to do martial arts anymore. This is my life. Yep, I don't give a shit about anything else.
Yeah, I know. It's weird how it does. It just flips that switch. It's like, this is what I'm doing now. Yep.
Yeah. What were your influences once you started getting into music? What were you drawn to?
Slipknot for sure. Just being, Iowa. I always was drawn to like Disturbed and Godsmack, Chevelle, stuff like that. But our main thing, Zach and I, when we were younger, we had this VHS tape of Nirvana Unplugged, and literally we wore it out. Like you couldn't play the thing anymore. We watched it so many times. So that was always great. I had the Godsmack, the Disturbed, the Mudvayne, all of these went back when they put out live DVDs. Yeah. So I was always buying that stuff and, and it was cool because social media wasn't really huge at the time. What did Facebook come out like 2009 or something like that? So when, young kids watching this stuff and then you get to see some interviews and do all that stuff. And, but our main vein was we loved Tool. That was our band, you know what I mean? And like, seen them live several times. I almost got to meet Danny Carey in 2020. But everything was, being shut down and, all that stuff. So that was a big upset. But Tool, like my favorite album of all time is it's Lateralis by Tool, and then it's 13th Step by Perfect Circle. So I really love anything that Maynard kind of puts his touch on too. So nice. That was our thing.
Nice. You talked about Saul getting started kind of out of Sequoia. It's just you and your brother doing acoustic. Were you guys just trying to find your sound and just trying to get musicians in, or was the acoustic thing different from Saul?
It wasn't so much different. We were covering, we were doing Change by Deftones and stuff like that. And, like just songs that we loved. Outsider by Perfect Circle, stuff like that. And that was just something to kind of keep us busy and like really hone the craft in, because when we were doing the acoustic stuff, we didn't have a drummer at the time. And so, we were getting asked to do shows like, yeah, we can do it, but it has to be acoustic. It's just Zach and I. And so like, doing stuff like that. And, but once we got, a steady drummer in, we did an EP, in 2007, like when we were still in high school. And so from there we had John Filkins, but later he went to college and we didn't even realize it at the time, but like we put out the song called Snow White, and like Z98, our local station, it's like an hour and a half from us, so local, but it's our radio station, got the track and we won like Z98 Underground Awards, for stuff like that, and then just kept moving on, and we're just like, oh man, maybe we're doing something right. And so it was cool, and that was all original songs, stuff like that. And but the moneymaker, especially when you're 18, 19 years old and you're getting paid $1,500 a night to go out and play a couple hours on a at a club or whatever, you're like, yeah, that's where the money's at. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. And that's how we paid for a lot of equipment and everything, so it was cool.
Nice. What was the local scene like? Was there probably not much in your small town, but like in the surrounding drivable areas, was there like a vibrant music scene?
Yeah. Do you know the band For Today?
Yeah.
Okay, so we grew up in the same. They're from Sioux City. We're from Sutherland, and then in Spencer, it's northeast of us. We'd always meet up with the guys, not directly, not like, hey guys, what's up? You going to the show? But we'd always end up being in the same kind of crowds doing that stuff. So just northeast of us in Spencer, they had like hardcore shows all the time, and it was at this dude's freaking apartment. So it was like, it was like the size of a bedroom, really. And they were cramming in, 40, 50 kids. And we were just rocking out to these hardcore bands. And we just remember the For Today guys being there, just, 3-4 years older than us. And just talking about, we got to start a band. We got to start a band. And then so they blew up into For Today. And Zach and I are there like learning and, figuring stuff out and, meeting people. And we were talking the same thing. So it was kind of weird that it kind of, just went that direction, and those guys blew up. They're bigger than life. And, I mean, not anymore. I know they aren't doing that much anymore. But it was great. It was a great local scene.
Yeah. Yeah. You said you never wanted to be a frontman, but did you always know you could sing or just like?
No. I still question it. But I just I knew the guys that we were auditioning and like, and for a little while in high school, we had this guy singing for us and he was a great guy. But he was like 5-6 years older than us and he was already, partying and drinking, doing the whole thing. And that wasn't our shtick. We were like, we're doing music and that's what we're doing. And canceling band practices and stuff like that. And we're just like, no, I think I'm just going to do it. And, let's just go from there. And so Zach did all the backup harmonies and stuff like that. And that's just how it went. Nice. We just had to make it work. And then gradually just over the years getting better and better and better.
Nice. I assume the band name is just coming from your last name.
Yeah. Yep. Because it was for a long time, it was just the Bedsaul brothers or, something like that. So we just, our older brother, the song that we wrote, Brother About, Caleb, he's just like, just call yourself Saul. He's like, it's short, sweet. They know exactly what it is. I'm like, all right, cool. That's what it is.
Nice. How'd you guys end up on Octane?
Luck of the draw, just right place at the right time. We were working. So Zach and I went and recorded, the Eons EP. We had it all done. And then it got in the hands of Chris Dawson in Wichita, and he's like, let me remix and master this, and let's go from there and see if you guys want to come out and work with me and everything. And so he did, and he's like, I got a friend in the industry I'm going to send the EP to, and let's go. Let's see what we can't do with it, because I believe in you guys. And so we sent him the EP. So he's like, if I see something or whatever, and he's like, if you had to push a song, which one would it be? And Zach and I go, Brother. It's going to be Brother. If we push any song, it's going to be Brother. And so Octane got a hold of it, and it just blew up, because he shipped it over to Octane, and he's like, what do you guys think? And then it really just took off. There's not much more than that besides, it organically and just really people caught onto it.
Nice. How'd you guys get connected with Spinefarm Records?
After Brother blew up, we were getting set. We were actually talking about just doing another EP with Chris Dawson. And they called us, said, we want to set up a meeting. So they flew us out to Manhattan and showed us around the city a little bit and, took us out to eat and kind of told us what the deal is and, had the contracts and everything. And we just knew right there that we were just like, yeah, we'll do this. Because we had a couple other offers come in at the same time, and it just felt right. It just felt like they wanted it more. So that's just the direction we went. And it turns out they're great guys. That's really what drew us to them in the first place. It's just like, everybody's family oriented and getting the work done. So it's like, all right, this is where we should be. Nice.
You had the unfortunate experience of releasing Rises Equals fall of 2020. What was that experience? I mean, you're all hyped. You're ready to release your debut record, but the world is shut down and you're basically putting it out into a void. Like a lot of people release music in 2020 or like right before, right after the pandemic. And it's like a lot of people attach themselves to those records because there wasn't a lot coming out then. What was that experience like for you guys?
It was great. I'm glad we did it. I'm honestly glad we put it out at that time. But Revolver Magazine, Loudwire, all these outlets were like the next big band. So we're going into that. We were getting ready to take off for tour with Hell Yeah and All That Remains, and it was going to be this like pushing the record, this whole big thing. And then it all hit, and we were stuck. We released a record, great response, everybody's loving it. King of Misery's blowing up, the whole thing, you know what I mean? And all that stuff, but we can't get out there and support it. And we're stuck doing live streams and Facebook lives just to keep, the momentum going and stuff like that. So that kind of thing was irritating because I'd rather much rather do it in person. I'd rather be on stage, doing stuff like that. But I mean, it was a great experience, honestly. I mean, just because people were stuck at home and they were just listening to the records, and like that's just the way it was. And if I could go back, we'd probably do it the exact same way. But I just it would have been so much greater if nothing shut down.
Yeah, it's such an unfortunate time where it's like you never know if like we're gonna get live music back again, and like
that was talked about. We were like, maybe we just have to do live streams from here on out, kind of thing. Nobody knew what was going on, so it was crazy.
Yeah, did it feel like a soft launch to the band? It's like does this release feel more like, all right, this is our coming out and our debut more than the last record because of the weirdness surrounding everything?
Yeah. And doing this new record, this is at the end of everything. And then so just going back to Rises Equals, we didn't want to compete this new record with Rises Equals. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It wasn't ever like, we got to beat it, that kind of mentality. We just went in and we were like, let's just write the best songs we can write. And now with releasing it and we're getting out and, we just got a tour with Memphis Mayfire and Norma Jean and, supporting the record. Now we're going out with the Red in the fall, supporting the record. And now it feels like, exactly like you said, like, here's the actual release, but we're out there, we're playing, Brother and King of Misery and Looking to Fight, you know what I mean? So it's not like it's almost like a re-release of Rises Equals a little bit as well, too. You know what I mean? Just to bring it out there to tour on that as well. So, I mean, it's great, honestly.
You've talked about, you kind of come up through this hardcore scene that's happening in Iowa. You're playing shows with Memphis Mayfire, Norma Jean. You're involved in this like metalcore scene. One of the things that's really interesting about your band, and I think about music right now, there seems this like crossover where all your influences are like this like heavy radio rock, this late new metal era. But like when I listen to your record, there's a lot of that metal influence in there, and you're able to like tour and cross over. What do you think lends to that? I mean, is it just like we tune our guitars down to drop A now, so everything sounds heavier?
No, I mean, we always play, G sharp is our tuning, and that's just what we played for, years now. And that's just because Zach bought a 7-string, and he's like, this is the tuning I want to do. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I had a 5-string, and I'm like, fine, that's whatever. And, but, as far as the crossover and stuff like that, that's just how we do it. We don't really know how to do it any other way. And it's just like, that's just what comes out when we start writing songs. You know what I mean? It's not like, it's not something, it's more subconscious and just like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we like. So it's not like something that we strive, to achieve.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, like it's cool because you can hear that influence of like a Disturbed or Godsmack Tool, but it's also like there's a metal influence there as well that like comes out from the guitar riffs and the songs to. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
At what point did you guys start writing this new record?
This new record, it was, what was it? April of 22.
Okay.
We started getting this record together. Because we initially had a couple newer release dates that we were going to do, but we couldn't get the tours to coincide with landing or pushing the record. So, and then we had some change in management and stuff, and it was a whole weird period, and we just pushed everything back until everything made sense. And now we're with unchained management and everything, and just everything feels better, everything's flowing better. So it's been a while. We've been sitting on it for a while, but it just had to make sense for us.
Yeah. Album is called This Is It, The End of Everything. Where'd the title come from?
Just the idea of the pandemic, everybody being on their phones, not really like a human, natural element a lot anymore. I don't feel like so. And then the government and all that stuff. Everything's just everything's crazy. It's just the end of it.
Did that like drive your lyrics and like what you were writing about?
A little bit, yeah. Like songs like "Tooth and Nail," "Last Parade," songs like that. Definitely. When it comes to everybody just being heads down, eyes on their phone constantly. That song's like "A Million Miles." Stuff like that, and we really dive into it on like "A Million Miles," and that's kind of like an accumulation of like between that and "Tooth and Nail" is like a wrap up of what the entire record kind of is. But yeah, definitely. And we write a lot of things from just like personal experience. Songs like Us AD, Losing My Mom. I wrote it from my dad's perspective, honestly. And just like, just really, really hard lyrics on that song. And then, No Mercy, that's definitely personal songs. All these songs are definitely, you can hear our emotion coming out in these. I mean, so yeah.
Who did the artwork for you guys?
That is Portland is his name. He does oh my gosh, for what is it called? I can't remember the name of his company.
Okay.
But he did the Rise is Equals record too. Okay. He does great work. Portland though. Portland it's not his real name, that's just what everybody calls him. But yeah, we think he does great work. So I mean we plan on working with him, for the duration, if possible.
Nice. You guys have been out on tour. You've toured with, like you said, Norma Jean, Memphis Mayfire. What's the response been so far?
Great. This last tour with Memphis Mayfire and Norma Jean has been like the best tour we've ever done. The response was fantastic. Merch sales were crazy, just wild. It was great. And now, coming in, so September 8th is our first date with Red over in Joliet at the Forge. And it's going to be a great tour. We're really, really stoked about it. And everything's just coming together, and like, we really like the band Red. So, I mean, it's going to be cool. We're really stoked about it.
Yeah. It's a little more a complimenting sound and style on tour, or, their fans. Not that fans from Norma Jean won't be receptive to you, but like, more of that same genre where,
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
But Norma Jean, man, I love the dudes from Norma Jean. It was the first time we met them when we were out on tour, and like Corey and Mike and Philly and everybody's just like, man, these are my dudes. You know what I mean? So like we had to exchange numbers and just like, hey man, what's up, brother? You know what I mean? So it's cool, nice. And on this record, we actually worked with Maddie and Kellen on a song called Rain Fire. From Memphis Mayfire. So, I mean, it was cool. I mean, we kind of already knew them a little bit and everything. So when they asked us to do the tour, we're like, absolutely, let's go. So it was cool.
You need me now, you use me then. My equal ones, now you're lesser than. So pay the price of a liar. New, purified as a rain fire. There's nothing I wouldn't do. I gave it all just for you. Did you want me to?
You're doing this tour with Red. Any other plans this year? Or is that kind of going to be your wind down into the holidays?
As of right now, it seems like it's going to be a little bit of a wind down. I know I'm talking to some local venues in like Sioux City, Sioux Falls, Omaha area about coming in and just doing some like holiday shows. Maybe just free to the crowd, just kind of come in, have a good time, and we'll play like hour and a half and just headline, and I think it'll be cool. Have some of the local support, some of the guys we haven't played with in a few years, have them come in, and I think it'll be a fun time.
I can't forgive, I won't forget the words you said and what they meant. The only bridges I've seen burn, ignited from the other side. Forget the bridges, ignited from the other side. Forget the bridges, ignited from the other side.
Thanks for listening to As the Story Grows. Our intro music was written and composed by Jeremy Hunt. The As the Story Grows theme is by Bob Nana. If you like what you hear, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and give us a rating and review. If you'd like to support the show financially, you can join us at patreon.com/asthestorygrows. Be a part of our community and join the ongoing conversation over on Discord. If you enjoy this episode, share it on social media with your friends. Much appreciated, and thanks for listening.
I never felt so young and alive as when I'm diving into a tune. And now I'm learning as I listen along, and the wheels are turning, and I started a song. One good word and I'm gone. Oh, as the story grows, the more I want to know, the more I want to show you. As the story grows, as the story grows. You can create something lasting and great, something passionate and real. And I'll bring in my own good feelings, I'll sing it with meaning. Let's just attack it and never look back. It's wild and fantastic. All together at full power, we're so much better. What's that word?